Hello there, Starscream back for a quick Transformer review. It's been a long time since I've done one of these and actually showed my face on camera, and everybody's going, why did you have to start now? You could have quite happily stayed behind the camera and we'd all been happier. I'm really sorry about that. Some people actually like it when I do these reviews. Some people. Okay, one I was requested a long time ago, and I've been quite negligent actually, on the basis that I completely and utterly forgot, till I was reminded one day by a message saying, how's it coming along? I'm going, how's what coming along? The Insecticon review. Ah, that. Yeah, I'm sure I meant to do it, but I forgot. So, to make amends, here it is at last. I'm sorry I've taken so long to do it, and to be honest with you, I wanted to do this anyway. It may go to two parts, because there's a lot to say about these guys. And it's the Insecticons. Should we have a little brief history, and then we get down to the characters and the toys in general? Because there's a few of these guys, not to mention the alternative colour variations of them. But we get into them later. Alright, the original Insecticons introduced in the original cartoon. Now, apparently, I've read this up, so if it's wrong, I blame who wrote it, because I didn't know this about the Insecticons. Oh, I can't say that 5 times fast, that word, but why should I? Okay. They were initially on the Nemesis when it crashed on Earth. Now, they escaped in an escape pod. Yes, whatever the hell that is. They escaped in an escape pod, hence the name escape pod. Yeah, not much gets by me. I'm on the ball today, aren't I? Oh, yeah. And they crash into a swamp. Now, in order for them to sustain life, they have to take on an alt form of some kind. Now, it's not really explained if it's part organic, you know, a bit like the Beast Wars, but I'm guessing, even though it's not explained, it is, because, you know, they crashed millions and millions of years ago. It's not explained whether the Insecticons initially came online a lot earlier than the other Decepticons did. Obviously a large build-up of energon, a bit like Beast Wars, so they have to give themselves an alt form, and obviously they crash into a swamp, there's no cars, there's no planes, and they take on the forms of insects. So that makes sense so far, but it does in my book. And if that's not the general explanation for them, tough, because that's the one I'm going with, because I kind of liked it, and I made possibly some of that up myself. Anyway, so that's the idea and the explanation behind them. And also the fact is they've been separated from the Decepticons for such a long period of time, they become independent from the Decepticons, so they rule themselves, they're self-governing. Now, Megatron comes along a lot later and goes, well, I remember you guys, and as far as I know, stop me if I'm wrong here, I'm your leader. Well, they're not actually taking too much of that, and they carry on saying, yeah, well, you are, and for some reason, because they repeat themselves. You know, it's kind of funny. No, I won't do that any longer. I'm sorry, it sounds like an echo. Yeah, they kind of speak like that through the show. It's nice, it gives them a character twist. Unfortunately, my only gripe against them in the show is the voice acting is so similar to other characters that, other than saying themselves and talking and repeating themselves over and over again, you think it's another character if you close your eyes, but I'm splitting hairs here, so we won't go down that route. Now, should we get on to the toys and the characters in general? Right. Sorry, I looked down there. I was actually trying to remember the name, so yeah, if you say, oh, I can't remember the name, I couldn't actually remember the name of Bombshell. And here the guy is. But before I talk about Bombshell, I want to do each Insecticon on his own, and I'll give you a brief look at him in his alt mode, and then I'll give you a little bit a look at him as he appears in the cartoon. So, bear with me, back in a sec. Alright, I like Bombshell. He's kind of a nice toy. Let's take a quick look at the toy. He's got no neck. I won't hold that against him because, let's face it, he's a hell of a lot more articulate and poseable than a lot of Generation 1 toys. Look, he can move his arm up. He can move it, you know, sort of up like this. So he can do, you can do a chicken flap there. No, alright, fair enough. Yeah, and he can move his legs. Kind of nice. I love all the chrome work on the original ones. Bombshell, as I said, implants cerebral control. He does it to Mirage, makes Mirage look like a traitor, and he's working for Megatron because they are obsessed with getting energon, as are most Transformers, including the Autobots, so don't give me any of that crap. They're just as bad as the Decepticons, in my opinion. So yeah, but Megatron usually plays them up, hammering them along a little bit, you know, tricking them, because they're not bright sparks, these guys. I mean, he may work as a scientist, you know, implanting cerebral shells into minds of organic life forms as well as robotic. They ain't that quick. So yeah, I liked Bombshell. Probably Bombshell is one of my favourites. What I failed to point out at the beginning of this review is that they do clone themselves. So I'm not essentially sure if each clone has the personality or the characteristics of the previous version of themselves. That's not explained, but we do know they like to... He's great. He's just like an insect. He just jumped out of my hands like a grasshopper. One more thing before we carry on to the next one is there was 4 deluxe insecticons. And we'll get onto them in a bit. Unfortunately, I don't actually have any of those ones because I can't stand them. Alright, on to the next one. Let's run VT. Right, Shrapnel. Well, he's often referred to, though, as Shrapnel Clone. Not quite sure why that is. Well, I know why it could be, because he makes clones, but he's often referred to as Shrapnel Clone, because it seems to be, through most of the show, there's a lot of this guy floating around cloned. Now, the Insecticons are in the movie to a smaller extent. Oh, apparently he controls things by his antennae, which is bull. Never mind, we'll carry on. So, they are in the movie, and they die in the movie. They have a... most of them die in the movie, but later on through the show, these ones you're in no doubt are dead, because, you know, they're attacking Autobot City, and a hot rod runs over them, and blah, 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 blah. And then we arrive on Junkion, and there they are attacking the humans and the Autobots. So, you're wondering, Shrapnel Clone's got a factory just, you know, supporting himself? Well, I think the general gist is it behind it was so badly damaged they couldn't clone themselves anymore. Although I think you see them a few times in season 3, but that's yet again animators' fault. They love to add things. Look, in one of the episodes, I think it is Flight or Flee, you see Ironhide in there going, yeah, to Rodimus, and I'm thinking, no mate, you're dead. But there we go. I kind of like this guy. Let's take a little look at the toy. He's probably one of the better looking ones because he's got like a neck and arms, and, you know, an obvious neck. And I love the chrome. I love the Insecticons chrome work, and I like the way his little legs pop out the back here. It's so neat. And like most of the Diaclone toys, they were meant to have a counterpart here. They've all got it, but you can store the Energon cubes in there. If you got the reissues, so good on you. Right, on to the last one.